Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. So over the last few days, last few weeks, we've had another upswell in protests and anger and finger pointing. We had two more African American men killed by police, and then just a few days ago, 5 police officers in Dallas were killed. 6 more were wounded. I think 11 people were shot overall, with 5 fatalities by an African American man with a sniper rifle, who was ultimately confronted and killed by police. And this has sprouted more protests and counter protests, and Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter and All Lives Matter, and it just doesn't seem like we have the political skills anymore to address the issues that these folks are talking about. I don't know, Doc, what's your take on this?
Well, part of this, now I read, we're not going to get into the race of this. Now, if we're going to get into we have to get into the racial aspects, but there's a lot of numbers out there that you can start throwing out. That's not our style. We don't throw out a lot of numbers. But what I see is a group of people who want to help their communities. For the most part, cops don't go out and become cops because they want to beat up and shoot black people. Right? I'm sure there's some, but most of them just want to go out there and do their job. And what you essentially have is a group of people who have been assigned an impossible task to complete without the support of the people they're trying to do this with. And it doesn't matter if you're in a Korean neighborhood, a black neighborhood, whatever it is. Part of the problem here, and I think you see the same Facebook post, is how the media blows these things up. If you take a look at the numbers from the Department of Justice, I think the last time they came out in 2008 and then there's another one in 2013. People get shot. Whites get shot at a higher rate.
That's not true.
Overall than blacks. It is, according to the Department of Justice.
By the raw numbers, maybe, but that's because there are more white guys in the population.
No, even if you adjust for that.
If you adjust for that, I know exactly what you're talking about, though. No, because you have to tell the whole story. Even if you adjust for that.
Well, you have to let me finish the whole story.
Go ahead.
So the thing is, if you break down the numbers and you take a look at percentages and proportion and the raw numbers, people get shot by the police. Most of the time, people get shot resisting arrest or doing something funny, like the guy out in Oregon. Remember the guy out in Oregon? If you have FBI people pointing guns at you, don't reach into your shirt. It's that simple. And part of the problem is and I'm going to go back to my very good friend, James English. And he's a good friend of mine. He happens to be black. We talk about racial issues, and he tells me, he goes, black people are afraid of whites. That's why they don't talk to you. That's why they smile all the time, and I try to act really extra friendly. And I think to myself, well, that's what whites do when we come up to blacks. And the problem is when you are only shown black folk getting shot on the media and not white folk also getting shot, and a lot of times unjustifiably, then you have the skew that, holy cow, every black man's getting shot. And the problem is, really, that we need to go back to being a community. We need to go back to, I need to watch out for my neighbor down the road, right? I need to watch out for my friends over here. And we have to be able to get the trust factor with the police back under control. Let's look at Baltimore. Baltimore was horrible. The problem is your mayor's black, your police chief's black, and you still have the same problems. So what do you do at this point? What does that mean, that even though your entire administration is black, but yet black men are still getting shot on the streets? What do you make of that? What do you do with that information at this point?
There's an interesting idea that's been floating around out there that even if we don't have as much of a racial problem as we think we have. If police officers are still who are just killing folks, and there's lots of anecdotes of them killing white folks who are unarmed. That still shouldn't be happening. What that suggests to me, even more so than a racial problem, is that we have a police brutality problem. But leaving that aside, is the what I hear from a lot of African American folks who I happen to know, who are colleagues of mine, lawyers in the community, or whoever. And from interviews that you've seen with people in in different communities around the country, especially older folks who are saying, look, this has been happening to us for a long, long time. We've been being shot and terrorized by police. These are the folks that are taking a hard line against the police just in general, right? Who come out and say, we've been being oppressed and harassed by police officers for a long time. We just now have the video to show it to everybody. This isn't anything that we haven't dealt with before. That's where I think it's new, is that mainstream American culture is being confronted by something that people of color have been dealing with for an awfully long time. Now, you can say that's not true. I'm just saying that's where they're coming from. They're not coming from this place of this is a new phenomenon. They're finally saying we finally have the evidence we need to demonstrate this, and there's pushback against that. I don't know that the pushback is necessarily surprising, given the fact that we don't want to think of ourselves as a racially divided country, and we have people actively making the argument that we are not a racially divided country all the time. But for the folks that have been victims of that sort of stuff in the past, they have a different reality. At least they're espousing a different reality. All
right, and part of the thing that I think is the problem is the rhetoric that is used by organizations such as Black Lives Matter. The truth of the matter is I have been in a vehicle and I have been pulled over for looking like a biker. Honest to God. Mm-hmm. I have been pulled over in my younger days when I used to get really dark and tan for driving while brown. I know I did. I understand that happens. There was a case in West Palm Beach when I was first down there. And because West Palm Beach is a gated community, the regular rules don't apply. The cop got up there and said, yeah, I pulled this Jeep over. There's 3 white kids and a black guy driving. So I pulled him over because he was black. Oh my God. I was horrified. Why would you just pull over somebody because he's black driving down your road, minding his own business? It's not that he was speeding. It's not that he was doing anything else. And 2, why does being black have to do with any kind of criminal activity, particularly in Palm Beach? I mean, you have to have a minimum of $500,000 just to buy a house there, right? So I was watching this and I thought, geez, this really does happen. And part of the problem is people perception is reality. The perception is only blacks get shot by police. We're tired of this. This is awful. The police are brutal. I mean, that's what you said earlier in the segment. It is rhetoric like that makes it more difficult to police. Policemen are men and women, and they're humans, and they become paranoid because they want to get home to their children at night, just like everybody else does. Now, we've come up on this break. I think we've had a good discussion with this, so we're going to continue on with Black Lives Matter. And we're hopefully going to be able to come up with some kind of solution next segment, because that's what Lefty and I like to do.
Good luck with that.
Well, if you just do what I tell you, we'd all get along. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We want to thank you, the listener, for tuning in, because we couldn't do what we do without you. We want to thank all of our sponsors today: Des Moines Anesthesia at 515-574-6442, Halo Capital, Labinas Law Firm, Bertrosian Associates. We're going to be back after this break, and we're going to continue to talk about police versus Black Lives Matter. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Be back after this.